Are you a cat lover who loves the idea of owning your own cat cafe? Then this is the podcast for you. Join me, Angeli Rodriguez, owner of the Woody Whisker Cat Cafe and author of the book Drinks and Whiskers, as I walk you through my tips and tricks to help you open a successful cat cafe. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Drinks and Whiskers podcast, the place to be to get the inside scoop on what it's like to open and run a successful cat cafe. I'm your host, Angeli Rodriguez, and before I get into today's topic, I wanted to send out a huge thank you to Brianne Eagle, owner of the future Paws and Pages Cat Cafe in Jacksonville, Florida, for inspiring me to do a season 3 of the Drinks and Whiskers podcast. Brianne is one of my consulting clients, and she basically sent me a bunch of questions she wanted answered, and it gave me the courage to get back in front of the mic. So everyone, please give her a like and a follow on her Instagram, Paws and Pages Cafe. Okay, now back to today's episode. Today, we're going to be talking about your coffee bar and cafe setup. When I first started planning my cat cafe, I had zero experience working at a cafe, and to be honest, I didn't really like coffee. I'm actually more of a tea person myself. While I didn't love coffee, I liked going to cafes. There's just something special about a great coffee shop that makes you want to cozy up with a good drink or dessert, relax, reset priorities, and get creative planning what you want to do with your life. Like opening a cat cafe, perhaps? I knew the vibe I wanted, but I wasn't really sure how to get there. Luckily, during my planning process, Ben Johnson, the president of Martin Coffee Company, a local coffee roaster in my area, reached out and offered to give me a tour of his facility in downtown Jacksonville. He was very kind and showed me how coffee gets roasted, how the beans are stored, and here's the best part, what equipment I should use. Before I keep going, I think it's important to mention that, one, you do not need to have all this equipment in your cafe. There are many successful cat cafes out there that only have a simple Keurig and a rack of prepackaged granola bars. Two, I just knew that the vibe I wanted was a little more upscale, but not like Starbucks. So here's the basic equipment you're going to need to offer if you want to offer espresso coffee at your cafe. Number one, a coffee machine. Number two, an espresso machine. Number three, a grinder. Number four, a commercial blender. Number five, a commercial ice machine. Number six, refrigerators. Number seven, a sink. And number eight, storage. Okay, so let's get started first with your coffee machine. So even though you're a nice fancy place, you're still going to want to have customers that want just a plain old coffee. It's very inexpensive, it's very easy to make, and it's always a good thing to offer in your cafe. So my coffee machine I got for free from Martin Coffee Company, and they said I could use it as long as I wanted, as long as I bought my coffee from them. It's a Bun CW series that was not new when it was installed, and it has worked beautifully for the past 5 years with absolutely no servicing needed. Side note, after I typed up my notes for this episode, my machine decided to start spewing hot water out of the sides. But a quick call to Martin Coffee Company, and they fixed me right up. All right, so back to the coffee machines. All it needs is access to a water source. So Martin Coffee Company installed it for me, and that was that. Ours also has a handy hot water dispenser, which is great for brewing teas, which is what I like. All right, so that's it for the coffee machine. Now on to the espresso machine. So for those who want a more bold flavored coffee, an espresso machine is the way to go. And if you're offering espresso, there are many different machines to buy. Martin Coffee helped us purchase, install, and maintain a Nuova Simonelli volumetric single station espresso maker with a steam wand for steaming the milk. You will need access to water and a drain in order to have this machine in your space. So now for the pros for having this machine. It makes amazing espresso. We have had true Italians from Italy come over and rave about how good our espresso was. And it is a workhorse of a machine. It works really well. It does, you can just use it, pound away on it all day making shots of espresso, and it's fantastic. If you do the daily and weekly maintenance, it lasts a really long time, and it comes with a bonus cup warmer on top. So you can put, like, if you're having somebody who just wants to sit in your cafe, not going in to see the cats, you can actually put um, cups on top, and it'll get them nice and warmed up so that when the espresso is poured into the cup, it does not reduce the temperature of the coffee. So it's really nice. They thought of everything. Now for some cons. It does take up a lot of room in your space. So our cafe is very, very small. We do not have a lot of room, and the espresso machine takes up a lot of the space. It's a pricey machine. So 5 years ago, it was $5,000. Nowadays, we're probably not going to get it for that amount, especially with all the tariffs that are coming out this year. So it is a little bit pricey and definitely an investment. The parts are pricey. So when it breaks down, you are going to have someone help you do the maintenance, and the parts that are required for it um, are a little bit pricey. However, if you do your daily maintenance and you have, somebody kind of on call to help you out with anything, like, it's usually not a huge problem. When we've had maybe it may be serviced maybe 2 or 3 times for the past 5 years. So that's really not a lot when you think about it. So it is a bit of a workhorse. So if you're wondering what the daily maintenance is like, basically, for those of you who know nothing about coffee, like me when I first started, your steam wand. You want to make sure that you purge your steam wand before and after every use. If you do not do this, the milk can get up into the system, and it will rot and give off a very bad smell. So you don't want that to happen. But it's a very simple thing. You just basically push the lever down, it steams, the steam comes out before and after, and it's purged, and it's just super simple. You wipe it down, and it's very, very easy. You also need to wipe down the machine daily, and you also need to wash the wire racks used to hold your little coffee carafes that take the espresso in when it's brewed. Some weekly maintenance, your machine top accumulates dust and crud, so you will need to take everything off of the top and wipe it down with a magic eraser to make sure it stays nice and clean. And then you're also going to want to clean the espresso machine piping with Cafesa tablets, which is basically just some little tablets that you get, cleaning tablets, and you kind of put them into the machine, and it kind of just cycles through and cleans out everything. So it's a really simple process that's included in the instructions for the machine. Additional supplies needed for espresso machine. You're going to need single and double portafilters, which you get one of each that comes with the espresso machine. You need the little carafes to hold the espresso as it comes out of the machine. And you'll need steam pitchers for the milk. So we offer whole milk, oat milk, and almond milk. So we have 3 different steam pitchers so that we can help prevent cross-contamination for those people with food allergies. And then finally, you'll need some shakers for the ice drinks. So that's it for the espresso machine. We'll go on to the grinder. So a grinder is what breaks up, if you have the whole beans, it's going to grind them up into a nice, fine grind so that you can actually brew the espresso. Some espresso makers come with the grinder attached. We actually have a separate Simonelli grinder, so our espresso beans are ground fresh. The pros of having this particular type of grinder, it's a workhorse of a grinder, is meant to be turned on all the time, and it provides a very consistent grind with a lot of control over how coarse or fine you want your grounds to be. And it also helps dispense consistent amounts of grounds every single time. So it has a little lever, and you pull it back, and then it comes out, and it delivers a specific amount every single time. The cons: when it goes down without warning, and you will need to have a backup grinder for emergencies. Need to have someone service it when it needs updated blades and wiring goes bad, and it has a tendency to overheat, so it can be a little bit picky. However, I will say that we have only had to have it serviced twice in the past 5 years. So when I say it's a workhorse, it is a workhorse, and it's a very, very good high quality machine. All right, so next we're going to talk about our blender. So we're in Florida, and during the summertime, oh, who am I kidding? Pretty much all the time, our blended lattes are a huge hit. So I have used 4 different types of blenders, and my recommendation is to not skimp on them. You will need to use a commercial style blender that can keep up with the daily use. Currently, we're using a Senley commercial blender, and we love it. It blends the ice consistently, leaving no ice chunks in the drink, and it has a quiet shield that will reduce the noise in your cafe. All right, onto the ice machine. An ice machine is essential to your cafe for your iced drinks. We use a teeny tiny under-the-counter ice machine by Homey with a 33-pound ice storage capacity. This machine requires access to a water line and a drain as well. The pros, it's very compact. It requires minimal upkeep. You just clean the little ice making mechanism in the ice bin with vinegar water about once a month. The cons, I'm pretty short. I'm like 5'2", rounding up. And I have to bend over pretty low to get the ice. If you and your team are taller, you might want to consider getting a taller ice machine for ergonomic reasons. Also, it can be finicky and shut off if there are fluctuations in temperature in your cafe. And we find that shutting it off once a week to give the machine a break elongates the ice span of the ice machine. Side note again, after I typed these notes, we started having some issues with the ice machine, but fear not, it comes with a 1-year warranty and their customer service is phenomenal, so you are in good hands. Next, you want to have a small refrigerator close by your cafe. So going on to the next item, which is your refrigerators. You want to have it close by your cafe area to store temperature-controlled items like milk, lemon juice, cold brew, and flavored sauces. And anything else that you're going to need to keep temperature controlled. We use, again, an under-the-counter beverage refrigerator by Home Labs. The pros, it works very well for keeping things cold. The cons, again, it's very short since it's under the counter, so you will have to bend over to get your stuff out. Also, the thermometer, the digital thermometer that it comes with does not work very great, so you are going to have a separate like mercury analog thermometer in the fridge to be able to double check your temperature reading. Next, you will have to have a sink nearby. Beverages are considered foods, and your local health department will require you to have a hand washing sink close by so your team can wash their hands when preparing the drinks. You will also need hand washing soap and a way to dry your hands. You will also need a little poster that shows people how to wash their hands, because that's a nice requirement and shows the Department of Health that you're really just serious about keeping people safe. Hand washing sinks are solely for hand washing. You will also need a dishwashing sink close by if you want to rinse out your dishes. You cannot use the same sink for your dishes. So if you're like me and you simply do not have any room left for another sink, in Florida, you can get by with a 5-gallon bucket that you can use to discard your rinsing wastewater. So you can stick your steam pitcher under the water in the hand washing sink, but you can actually like just put and empty out the water into the 5-gallon bucket. And discarding the wastewater in the bucket reduces the probability of contamination from water splashing from the sink back up into your dish, and into the dish that you're washing. So you just, when you're washing your hands, all of the grime from your hands is coming onto the sink, and the sink is very dirty. So they're just trying to ensure that everybody stays safe and that we're not cross-contaminating any of the dishes that we use while we're making food. And finally, last but not least, you're going to need some storage. Don't forget to think about the storage for all the supplies you're going to need to make coffee drinks. Things like hot cups, hot lids, cold cups, cold lids, in various sizes if you want to be that fancy. Hot sleeves, sweeteners, forks, knives, spoons, stirrers. If you're getting creative with your drinks, you'll want a place to store your sprinkles and spices like cocoa powder and cinnamon. Now, if you have coffee, you're also going to want to have a coffee bar, a place for people to put the finishing touches on their coffee. So your coffee bar can have extra sweeteners, extra creamers, straws, stirrers, and much, much more. Get creative with how you display these items. Make it fun and quirky and memorable. We actually have an old piece of furniture that we painted bright yellow, and it really brightens up our space. And there you have it, my take on what you need if you're going to offer coffee at your cat cafe. I hope you found this helpful. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, how will you warm hearts with a drink and a whisker? Bye. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Drinks and Whiskers podcast. If you enjoyed it, please take a moment to like this episode, subscribe, and leave an honest review. If you want more information, you can purchase the Drinks and Whiskers book right now on Amazon.com, or you can reach me at Anjali@wittywhisker.com. Now it's time to get out there and start your cat cafe dream. How will you warm hearts with a drink and a whisker?